You're listening to The Breakfast Show here on Faith FM with myself, Skafy, Narek, and producer Shells. We are going to be talking about AI, decisions. We are going to be talking about a beef between Anthropic and the Department of Defense of the United States. Narek is going to be sharing with us some ideas of some questions being asked that are changing people's lives. Is that right, Narek?
Yes.
So all that and more. We also have an interview today with Asian Aid. So if you'd like to find out what is their latest project, stay tuned here. We are going to be having a conversation with them at 7:35 this morning. Before we get into any of that, before we launch into our good news segment, I would like to ask producer Shells to share with us a new quiz question.
All right. Which woman is noted as having wandered in the desert of Beersheba for a time with her son? That's from Genesis. So which woman is noted as having wandered in the desert of Beersheba for a time with her son? And you guys can text us as well on 0491 064 669.
I know this one. Do you know, Narek?
Yes.
I'm not looking at the screen.
Can you actually see the reflection?
No. It's backwards. I can't really
Oh,
read
it's
it.
backwards.
Yeah.
You can just see like the first capital letter or something like that.
I'll give you a hint. She was... No, I was trying to think of an easy...
If whatever hint you give, it's probably going to make it too easy. I think so. Well, if you do know the answer to that one, what was the name of a woman that spent some time wandering in the desert of Beersheba with her son?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Spot
there
on.
you go.
And you guys can text us 0491 064 669.
Okay. All right, Narek, tell me, what is the story that you wanted to share with us today?
Yes. All right. Before we get into a story, let me ask you something this morning, Skafy. If a stranger walked up to you in the street randomly, you did not know this person, you're traveling on the train station, whether that's in Newcastle or Sydney, and a stranger walked up to you and said, Skafy, I don't know your name, but the stranger said, what's your good news today? What would your answer be?
My good news today?
Yes, if a stranger just walked up to you in the middle of the street, you're traveling somewhere, and he said, "Hey, stop."
Look, I would say this: Jesus is Lord. If you give me like 0 seconds to think, is that then? If you give me more time to think, maybe I can think about like something that I'm grateful for today. But if a complete stranger is asking, I would say, "Hey, Jesus loves you. He died for you. He's something along these lines."
Wow.
This is what I would imagine.
That's
what
awesome.
about you, my friend?
Me, if a stranger walked up to me and said, "What is your good news today?" I think I would be on the same line as you.
Yeah, okay.
I think I'll keep it very brief. I'll just say, God is good, Jesus is King, and I hope to have a blessed day. For me, I'm always trying to kind of steer people into where I'm at in life. So, and for me, Jesus is always King. So that's what I'll be saying to them. And so in a world where like headlines are heavy, there's a lot of drama on media, in the news, etc. There's one woman that's actually flipping the script. Her name is Megan Kaveni. I think that's how you pronounce it. She's a social media consultant in New York City, and she stands around. She goes actually into New York, the subway. Have you ever been to New York before,
Yes.
Skafy?
Yeah, many times.
So I heard it's very busy there, right? And
busy.
Especially the train stations and the subways.
Yeah, it can be very busy.
Yeah, and so she actually goes on into the subways where it's very busy. She has a big sign that she holds up and saying, "Share your good news today." So basically, she walks up to strangers, many strangers. She films it and she posts those questions that she asked. And people will share from different walks of life. You have older people that are sharing, younger people that are sharing, even kids that share.
What kind of stuff people are sharing? Do you know?
So people don't just say, they don't say, I just got a coffee today, or the good news for today is, it's sunny, or like, a lot of them are actually
some
sharing
good news from their personal life.
Yes. So a lot of them actually, she'll ask this question, and surprisingly online, people are very surprised that people are giving really passionate answers. So some of the things that have been shared is someone shared that they're 42 days sober, which is awesome. Someone said that they've just accepted into their dream university. Someone just said that their band just got signed a new deal, or someone said that their family made it through a very, very hard year. So these are kind of the things that's being shared on this platform. And what is powerful is that some of this good news isn't just, flashy things, or isn't just things that, they kind of just make up. A lot of what they're sharing is all personal. It's healing and it's progress. And one man actually said this, that he just completed rehab and been sober over for a month. And in that moment, in the video, when you actually watch it, the man starts to cry. And they hug and they embrace, and the comments have been going through the roof. And I think they've started a GoFundMe page for that person, and people are actually blessing that man through this platform. And I think it's very powerful. Just being online, you see a lot of negativity, but when something happens like that, the Good News Project that Megan has started, it really just uplifts your spirits, and it just really gives you hope that there are people that are going through the same things as you. There's people that are struggling as well. And
what a great project.
Yeah, of course. And one thing that's actually surprised a lot of people is that obviously she goes around asking so many people through the subway, and it's so busy. And she was saying that a lot of people reject her, or a lot of people, would never want to share. But there's one group in particular that would always be eager to share their good news. And would you have a guess of what group of people that would be? There's one group that's always very eager to share on this platform about their good news. They always want to share. They're like, yes, let me share.
Man, look, I would hope that would be like Christian people.
Yep. Okay. See, for myself, I was thinking the same thing.
But it's not.
No, because we have the good news.
Yeah.
Isn't that right? Like we have the best news. So the people that actually have been the most eager to share, they aren't influencers. They're not even business people, not tourists. The people that are actually the most eager to share is actually children.
Oh, yes. Yes. Yeah,
Children.
I would imagine. Okay, that was my second guess.
Right.
Yeah.
So she's saying that the kids, they don't hesitate to share good news. As soon as she asks them a question, hey, can you share your good news today? The children immediately, when you watch these videos, I watch them myself, they immediately, they light up.
Oh, God bless them.
Yes, and they're so excited to share. And a lot of times they pull their parents over and they're like, Mom, Dad, come, let's share our good news. And they're always excited to share. And somewhere between childhood and adulthood, we stop being joyful. I'm not too sure about yourself, but
I wouldn't say stop being joyful, but I mean, yes, for sure it can happen. But I would, in that sharing of good news, I think that as we become adults, we start being quite, what's the word that I'm looking for? Quite weary or kind of cautious of sharing good news with people, because you know that your good news, depending on the ears that they're following, they can actually be bad news for the other person.
Yeah.
They can be jealous. Let me give you an example. Imagine if I come to you and say, man, I just bought a new car, a new amazing car that does all of this and all these bells and whistles, the latest model and so on. Like, oh, this is definitely good news. I mean, who doesn't buy a car and it's not excited with it? It's just like a massive purchase.
Yeah.
Or I just got a new house and so on. But then the person that are listening to you, maybe they'll be jealous. Say, oh, how come you have a car and I don't?
That's so true.
How come you get to have to drive a flashy brand new car and I don't? How come you get to get a house and look to me like I'm light years away from ever being able to get a house? And I think that people trying to protect themselves, they kind of keep them to themselves, because I think that when you become an adult, you kind of learn, hey, actually there will be some people that will not take your good news as a good news. Maybe your best friends will. Yeah. People that genuinely love you. Yeah. Maybe your family. They will celebrate with your wins. Yeah. But if you're sharing with certain people, they're celebrating your wins, this is actually going to lead them to even resent you. So that, or look, this is in the worst case scenario. In some cases, they're just going to feel, I don't have any of that. Yeah. If someone comes to you and just says, hey, Narek, I'm just got a great news. I'm going to spend like one entire year on this luxury cruise around the world. And you're thinking, man, like, why can't I have that? So for spiritually mature people, they will celebrate other people's blessings irrespective. But the reality is the majority of people on the planet are not spiritually mature people. Yeah. And they are going to be feeling jealous, if not even resentful or downright hatred towards the person that has received a blessing.
Yeah, and does that kind of pose the question? Obviously, we as Christians have the good news. So when we are sharing that actively and also having that as an expression in our own personal lives, does that kind of bring up the point as to why other people may not like hearing that? Like out on the street or even just in our personal life. I know for myself when I'm sharing good news to my people or people that don't know Christ, and I'm like, my life, I'm so joyful. Even though I'm going through this battle, God is still good. People will always question that. Like, why do you always say that? What's this joy about you? And obviously as us Christians, we have the good news. And with this trend and why it's actually blowing up online is I think because Gen Z is actually very tired of doom scrolling. Right, they're tired of just being compared to other people, as you were saying, and this just actually proves that people actually want to talk about hope. They want someone to talk to. They want to hear things that give them hope, that inspire them. And so maybe that the problem is that there isn't no good news going around, but no one's actually asking people, hey, what's your good news? So personally, for me, I'd love to kind of challenge ourselves and also to you friends listening that what is your good news today?
Yeah, that is amazing. Actually, we got a message from David here. He said, look, his good news was participating at a church prayer meeting on Zoom. So he's grateful for Zoom technology. One of the things that I try to do at home is by the time that we are eating, you're sitting down, you're eating with someone. Like in my case, I'm eating with my family. And I like to do the round. So we say grace for the food. But as we're eating, and as I started tweeting, I say, hey, let's share 2 gratitudes each.
Oh, that's awesome.
Isn't that a good one?
That's awesome.
Share 2 gratitudes each. And then, look, that actually starts an amazing, positive conversation around the table. This is something simple we can do. But look, I am a big fan. The Bible, teaches us to enter into the courts of God with thanksgiving.
Amen.
And we start our show here, Eric, with Thanksgiving every morning.
How good is that?
This is a little habit that we have here to really think, to count our blessings, to number them, to name them. And when I share my blessings with you, you get a little blessing from it. When you share your blessings with me, I get a little blessing from it as well. And so everybody gets more blessed when we share our blessings.
Amen.
As long as that's being done among people whom you trust, people that are in your life. Because yes, indeed, there are some people that can use that even against you at some point. So just that carefulness being taken off. I think we're definitely not sharing and practicing gratitude sharing wide enough. Thanks for bringing that. What's the name of her Instagram handle so people can follow?
So if they look up the Good News Project or they look up Megan Cavini, they'll be able to find
the Good
just
News
a whole thread.
Project. Okay, Megan Cavini or the Good News Project. There we go. An interesting page there with positive good news for you.
You're listening to the Breakfast Show podcast on Faith FM. Positively different.
We're now going to review the answer to the quiz question. Who was the lady who is known to have wandered off in the desert with her son?
It was Hagar.
Hagar.
Hagar and Ishmael.
Hagar and Ishmael. Very well done. All right. Well, thank you very much, Producer Shells, for that one. Let's move on to our news of the day. I'm wanting to talk about Anthropic AI. Now, have you heard about Anthropic before?
No.
Okay, so Anthropic is in that world of, usually when we think about AI models, we think ChatGPT, OpenAI. That's kind of the first one, the most famous one. But there are a bunch of other ones like XAI. That's the one that is controlled or has been started by Elon Musk.
Yep.
And you have, for example, the Chinese ones like DeepSeek is the Chinese AI. You have a bunch of different Gemini, Google. And there is this one company called Anthropic. Now, for people that are into coding, Anthropic has been it's the most powerful AI. It's better than pretty much arguably. If you talk to people that code with it, I think that they would say that Anthropic is the best, if not the best, one of the best, if not the best model. And they were started by a bunch of people that used to work for OpenAI, and you realize these OpenAI people, they're just too capitalistic. They're just, they're not really thinking about ethical AI.
Right.
This is why they call it Anthropic. Anthropic kind of, like AI that actually works for human beings, not AI that wants to destroy them. The name of the CEO of that company is Dario Amodei, and he's just like your classic kind of geek guy that just stumbled to code one of the most disruptive technologies on the planet. It's just like a very unassuming guy. And as a testament to Anthropic's really advantage over all the other AI companies based in the US, is that they are the only one AI company to have received the clearance to be able to work with the Department of Defense in the United States, meaning with all of the Pentagon, the military. I mean,
that's pretty high.
OpenAI doesn't have that clearance.
Wow.
XAI doesn't have the clearance. Anthropic has that clearance. But Anthropic CEO Dario Amodei, he was very big into AI security. He said, look, we cannot use AI to certain things that are unethical, for example. They have 2 red lines that is described in their company, in their models. Their models will not cooperate. And one of these red lines is no lethal guns that are fully controlled by AI. In other words, no autonomous weapons, like killer drones or robots using these AI brains and to kill people without any human being to make the decision of whether it should take their life or not. And the other line in the sand that they have drawn in their contract or in their policy is no domestic surveillance of U.S. citizens. We don't want you to use our AI to spy on people. Basically, here at home. But Secretary Pete Hegseth, the chief of the Department of War in the United States, because it used to be Department of Defense, now it's Department of War, says we cannot have this woke AI anymore. He's calling that woke AI. And look, there were some questions that they asked to Anthropic, and it did come to their models. So their models are called Claude or Claude Code, and there's a bunch of different models that they have. And they say, yeah, it's woke. And then Trump said, no, it's not woke. But now for Secretary Pete Hegseth, it is woke because they do not want to allow the military to develop autonomous weapons and lethal weapons technology with their AI, nor that they're not allowing the U.S. to do surveillance with their own citizens. Now, you remember the big scandal, I think it happened in the Obama case with Edward Snowden. He was a CIA agent. He worked for this, I think, for the CIA or for the NSA, one of these intelligence agencies in the United States. And he was the guy that came down and says, hey, by the way, Facebook is actually spying on you.
Well,
the United States government is using all kinds of social media. So they actually have access to all your private information. They are having access to your phone cameras, to your phone microphones, and so on. That was during the Obama era. He kind of apologized for all of that, but kind of said, look, we're living in a post-2001 world, and we need to make people safe. So, that allows us to spy on you without even telling you that we know everything about you, everything that you're talking when nobody's listening, if your cell phone is listening, and so on. So now this is going to the next level, which is because imagine the amount of information. So before, if the government wanted to spy on someone, you have to target someone. Let's say I wanted to spy on Eric. They had to log in your accounts, and then they have to manually see all of the text messages and emails that you're sending and everything that you're saying to. It was a lot of information to compile. But imagine the amount of data that is required. So with AI, you make spying on people so much more effective. Because basically the AI systems are taking up all this information from everyone. They're tagging them, and then you can just type in, say, okay, who are the people that don't like me? Don't like my government. Oh, Narek here is the top of the list. The AI is giving a summary of all the things that you've said. Boom. There you go. So you actually made it much easier to spy on millions and millions of people with no effort. And with just a couple of keywords, you can have all the information that you need. But Anthropic is saying, no, we don't want you to be used with that. So the Department of Defense in the United States responded and saying, okay, we have given you a $250 million contract. And we have given you the rubber stamp that you are the only AI company that is actually, we trust enough to be able to have access to all of our secure servers. But if you're going to be woke and you're not going to let us develop autonomous weapons,
Yeah.
if you're not going to develop and allow us to spy on domestically, we are not only going to cancel that contract, but we are going to classify you as a national security, as a supply chain risk.
Yeah.
Now, supply chain risk is just a fancy camouflaged words to say you won't be able to do business anymore ever with any Australian American government institution. So not only for military uses, for civil uses, nobody can hire you.
Wow.
And the United States government will not be able to do any business with any company, private companies that have any relationship with Anthropic products.
Wow.
So basically, they're saying you're out of the game. We're not going to allow. Nobody else is going to be able to use your software. And you have until this Friday, 5:01 p.m. to give us a response. Are you going to allow us to use your technology to create what the United States government calls lawful but lethal autonomous weapons? Or you're going to stick to your principles, you're going to stick to your morals, your principles in saying that, AI should only be used for more peaceful uses.
Wow.
What would you do in that situation, my friend? This is like high stakes here.
Yes.
But it's also high stakes for the Pentagon, because if they get rid themselves of Anthropic, they're getting back to square zero.
Yeah.
Because they cannot trust the other models.
Yeah.
Because they hallucinate,
Yes.
they compromise classified information. So they're also going to be shooting themselves on the foot here.
Yeah.
Because really they don't really have anything better than Anthropic at the moment. So it's high stakes decisions here.
Yeah, could not see ChatGPT working with the Defense Force or any of those kind of AI models. So
Yes.
I think Anthropic, wow. So they have up until, is it Friday?
Yeah, until Friday, 5:01 p.m.
So the big anticipation is whether or not they're going to be aligning with.
That's right. If they're basically going to bankrupt their company, potentially.
Yeah.
But standing firm of their principles of not allowing people to use their product to create autonomous weapons and to use it for surveillance of U.S. citizens, or if they're going to say, you know what, okay, give us the money, just use it however you want.
Wow. So there might be a conflict of maybe morals and ethics there.
Big conflict.
Versus, what was it, $250 million, being invested in their product. Wow.
Yeah.
That's...
And look, and they can justify and say, look, and this is how a lot of people did, for example, during World War II, and they can, with the persecution of the Jews there, people can say, look, if we don't provide our solutions to them, well, someone else will, might as well be us. Well, we can get that money and do some good in response to that. Or they can say, no, look, we don't want to have our hands stained with blood. So if this means the end of our company, the end of the lives that are here, the jobs and so on, so be it.
Yeah.
There was a place in Jesus' life that he was confronted with a similar decision. I think this communicates the gospel. Satan at one point came to Jesus and says, Jesus, you see this world, it can all be yours. I can give all to you. I can, basically Satan saying, I can stop tempting people. I can stop destroying their lives.
Yep.
You can just rule this world for however you want. There's only one small thing that you need to do. You need to worship me.
Yeah.
You need to bow down and to recognize before the entire universe that I'm better than you, that I'm superior to you, that you surrender to my power, to my plans, that I won the game.
Yeah.
And what did Jesus say and do? He said, Satan, it's written.
Yeah.
You shall not worship you shall only bow down to God alone.
Yeah.
And you should not give worship to any idols.
Yeah.
And he says, get behind me, Satan.
Yeah.
Get out of here. And Satan lost. Jesus was actually, he could have saved humanity, so to speak.
Yeah.
The easy way, by not having to go to the cross. This is what the third temptation in the desert meant, really.
Yeah.
Satan saying, look, you don't really need to go through the cross. You don't need to go through the suffering. You don't need to be exposed to potentially making a mistake and imploding the universe.
Yeah.
If you just bow down to me, just a symbolic small act here of respect and reverence to me, you can accomplish all that goals. And Jesus says, no, it's not worth it. I am going to come to rescue humanity, all right? But it's not going to be through any compromise with justice.
Yeah.
So I'm choosing to go through the cross. I'm choosing to be despised. I'm choosing to be potentially even destroyed. But I'm not going to do the wrong thing by my God.
You're listening to the Breakfast Show podcast on Faith FM. positively different.
And our interview today is going to be with Tammy from Asian Aid, and she's going to be sharing with us about their new campaign, Speaking Up and Staying Safe. Tammy, welcome to the Breakfast Show. It's great to have you.
Hi, good morning, Skafy. How are you?
I'm doing well. Thank you very much. So, Tammy, looks like there's a very exciting new project going on with Asian Aid. Can you tell us a little bit more about that new campaign?
Yes. So our current campaign, so what we're focusing on this month is the topic of advocacy, so speaking up and staying safe. And the main focus of that is the importance of children having a voice on matters that affect them. So in the context where Asian Aid works, so we're in India, Nepal and Bangladesh, the issues that children and their caregivers are raising their voices on include things like human trafficking, child labour and child marriage. So some very serious child rights abuses that they're learning how to raise their voices about.
Yeah, so look, how does that work? Because it is very difficult for children to speak up or to say something, particularly if there's an adult involved, and sometimes these are family members. There's a lot of taboos in in a lot of shame culture in those countries where to even raise up something like that can bring unspeakable shame to that family, to the parents. So how does it work? How can we teach children to speak up? To whom could they speak up? And tell us a little bit more about how that could help them in practice.
Yeah, definitely. A big focus of it would be finding the trusted adults or the community champions that are there for that purpose. So it might be finding representatives in the police force or teachers, parents. It could be people in the government body as well. And so the way in Asian Aid, so the way that it works for our projects, our partner staff will work out who those influential adults are, those that are championing the rights of children. They'll get them on board and then they'll work out ways to raise these issues with them. And in very safe and measured ways, they'll have children get involved as well. So it might be that there might be a bigger campaign going on in the community, but what the children might do is create posters with messaging about the different issues that they want to talk about. They might do just simple awareness activities within their school or within their local community. But yeah, you're absolutely right. There's definitely, the aim is not to put the children in further danger. It's more to slowly work on changing the narrative behind some of these things that are prevalent in the communities where these children are living.
Tell me more. Can you tell me a bit more about these community champions and how Asian Aid is able to screen and identify who are these safe adults around the children? And what kind of? So you mentioned that there's some, perhaps police officers and whatnot. But could you tell us a little bit more details about who these people are that are wanting to empower children to speak up?
Yeah, absolutely. It would be similar to what we have in Australia, where you would have police officers trained particularly in child protection. So in the case of India, they would have like a district child protection unit that they can go to. And so there would be police officers linked to that unit and that role. And usually that's who our partner staff will connect with first. But there's a lot of discussion that goes between the NGOs themselves. So the groups that we work with overseas are NGOs, and they would speak with other NGOs that are working on similar programs or working towards similar goals. And you would be able to start to work out who are people that we can trust, who are influential people that genuinely have proven that they have the rights of children that's what they're looking to promote. And then that's who we would work with. Okay. But we definitely, sorry.
Yeah, no, sorry. So that is absolutely really good for them to know, hey, there are safe people around that you can raise these issues with in a safe way. How is that going to be communicated to these children? So Asian Aid is going to be sending people like from door to door to raise the awareness, or is this going to happen at a classroom setting? Through which avenues are these children going to be exposed to that information, to that knowledge?
Yeah, very much. So the majority of the work that Asian Aid does is quality education for children. So sponsoring children to attend school or equipping schools in order to offer quality education. And so the main area that this happens is in the school context, in the classroom. So it will be in places where the teachers understand the dynamics around how to offer that information to children or to get them involved in safe ways. But it's essentially what it is that beyond the foundational subjects of maths and English and science and things like that, we offer life skills programs and safety awareness sessions as well. So within that, we keep it quite simple. The life skills sessions might be about how to create healthy relationships with your peers or your friends. It might be about healthy, like hygiene habits and things like that. But then we also talk about personal safety. So like safe and unsafe touch, which is an understanding the difference between those two things. It might be working out in your school community or with like around your home, what are the safe places and maybe the less safe places and why is that? And as our staff have the conversations with children in an after-school setting, like after-school tuition program setting or in a classroom setting, it just gets the wheels turning for them to better understand safety and work out where they fit and where they might be able to raise their thoughts about it. So not necessarily in a campaign on the street sort of way, but even just in a more conversational way with their loved ones, with their parents or with their teachers or with their community members.
Yeah, that's so important. And this is a campaign that has a bit of a time frame to start and a time to end, or is this something that is designed to be held on an ongoing basis?
Yeah, very much on an ongoing basis. So any time that you donate to this particular area of H&A's programs, there's every year there's funding that goes towards this to help pay for the social workers that we have on staff, to help pay for the resources that go behind personal safety programs and things like that. At the moment, we're focusing on it. So we do tend to pick throughout the year what's something that we really want to share with our community around us that we can let you know is happening within the Asian aid space. But yeah, at the moment, this is the focus that we wanted to touch base on. And it also follows, so towards the end of last year, we introduced the night care program as well, which some of the listeners might have heard about, which is the night care for children aged 0 to 5 years old who are the children of sex workers in Cambodia, offering them safe accommodation, meals, baths in a night care centre. So I think following on from introducing that program under Asian Aid, we're now continuing to look at the advocacy piece and the child safety piece.
Yeah, that yes, we've heard a fair bit about the night care program, and I'm a big fan. I think that is such a beautiful way for protecting the most vulnerable children and giving them just a safe haven and a safe place. I think this is an incredible ministry that really reflects the ministry. It reminds me of the ministries that the early church would do in the book of Acts. And Tammy, look, I have a few questions as well that some things that I'm curious. One of them is that you said that this campaign of speaking up and staying safe is something that's being done across different countries. So I think you mentioned India, Nepal, and Cambodia. Is that right?
Yeah, so India, Nepal, Cambodia, Bangladesh. So Cambodia is our night
as well.
Bangladesh, yeah, very much.
So
yeah.
Are there differences in terms of, these countries' legislations about these issues? In particular, I'm thinking here about child marriage, for example. I know that I read somewhere that, in Pakistan, I think that in some provinces are just now starting to rule that out as an unlawful practice. Is there any difference in terms of working with these countries? Are some countries of these easier to work, or some countries are more resistant, perhaps from a legislation perspective, perhaps from a cultural perspective? What are some of the challenges that Asian Aid has found in working with these various, very different cultures in trying to achieve that, in trying to give these life skill to these children?
Oh, it's incredibly difficult, and you're right. Like, I'm glad that you've touched on child marriage particularly. So for, like, in our context, India, Nepal and Bangladesh, it's illegal in each of those countries and has been for quite a period of time. But even some of the statistics on it for Bangladesh, they've said that 51% of girls in Bangladesh are married before the age of 18, with 16% married before the age of 15. And then over in Nepal, it's 35% before the age of 18 and 23% of girls in India before the age of 18.
Wow.
And with the population of India, you can imagine that 23% of girls is millions of girls before the age of 18. And so, yes, even though there's legislation around it, the the implementation of that, I think, is quite complex. A lot of the time, if the parents are adamant about it, or if the police are quite lax in responding to it, then it does go under the radar and the children remain in that space. And so the role that Asian Aid partners play is that the staff are trained on reporting it to the police and to the authorities. And then the main role that we play is trying to encourage, counselling the parents and the children to get the child back to school. So giving them what's the alternative. If you keep your child in school, look at all the wonderful things that will mean for them. If you wait just this, a few years longer, wait till they get to this stage, then the outcomes are better, and trying to counsel them and support the child to return back to the classroom rather than end up in something very dangerous like that.
Yes, absolutely. Especially because, in a lot of cases with these prearranged marriages where it's often the case with child marriages in these countries, they're often not going to be the first wife of that supposed husband. There's often also a huge age gap, sometimes 30, 40 years of difference. So it can be a very, very traumatizing situation for these girls. And Tammy, just one more question here. So do you have any stories of children who were able to speak up, or stories of the real impact that this campaign has brought to some of these children that you can share with us?
Yeah, definitely. So even thinking, we talked a little bit about child marriage, but some of the other issues that are affecting children in our programs, we said like human trafficking, and a lot of drug abuse is going on as well with the children themselves. So a lot of the adolescent children are falling into drug abuse, but also their community members and their parents. So Asian Aid's been sharing a story about a 12-year-old boy called Harish from South India. So he lives with his parents and his older sister. So his mother, she works as a domestic helper, so works across different homes, and his father is an auto driver, so drives the rickshaws over in India. But so their income is very, very meagre. So Harish has been part of Asian Aid Football for Life program, so learning football skills after school, being part of our life skills and safety awareness programs, and receiving nutrition, so a meal at the end of the day after school. As part of that, Harish learnt about drug abuse and the impact that can have on a person's life and on their family and on their community. And he learnt about the different services that were in his area to help people that might have addictions to drugs or problems managing them. And so Harish, feeling confident after learning about the information and talking with the social worker, so the team member for Asian Aid, decided that he wanted to share that information with his father and with his mother, just to let them know what was out there, if maybe they didn't know that there was help for it. And thankfully, the process went smoothly and safely, and Harish's father then went and sought the support service. So is now reducing the amount of drugs that he's taking, and his behaviour's improved significantly for Harish's family.
Wow, that is an amazing story. And Tammy, how can we contribute? How can we be a part of that change? How can we make these really, really solid impacts through Asian Aid in the lives of countless children? Is it very expensive to be able to help, in these projects?
No, not at all. It can really be whatever you're able to give. A lot about advocacy is sharing the information, and so even just letting your communities know about these things that are going on for children overseas, but also in Australia. These issues very much affect our children and our communities here as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but it also doesn't cost very much. So some of our activities might be paying for the posters and the texters and the materials to make little campaign posters or awareness posters for the kids. And so a very little amount can go a long way as far as helping people to find their voice, to talk about, children to find their voice, to talk about what matters to them.
And if God is impressing the heart of someone right now to make a contribution, to help out in this project, what can they do to actuate on that conviction?
They can definitely call Asian Aid. So we're 0265864250. That's our number. But then also our website as well is the easiest place to do that. So asianaid.org.au. It'd be incredible to receive more support for it, but please, even just praying. Praying is a wonderful way to keep to keep advocacy moving in the way that it does.
Absolutely. Tammy, thank you so much for sharing this amazing project, Speaking Up and Staying Safe campaign, something that Asianet has been doing for a while now and has been reaping some amazing fruits of righteousness into the lives of children and their parents in these Asian countries. Thank you very much.
No worries, Skafy. Thank you.
Thanks for being a part of the Faith FM family. Join our community on Facebook or get in touch at 1-800-FAITH-FM.